Welcome to Three Devs and a Maybe, the podcast series for beginner web developers and general web enthusiasts. Now, introducing your show hosts, Michael Budd, Fraser Hart, Lewis Keynes, and Ed Mann.
Welcome to another episode of Three Devs and a Maybe. My name's Ed, and today it's the first ever episode face-to-face, a mono. Today I'm very, very happy to be joined by my good friend, Keyvan Akbary. This is the thing I was going to ask before.
Akbary.
It's
a weird name.
Keyvan Akbary.
I'm Spanish, but my father is Iranian, so he invented a really weird name.
He invented it. He made it up. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to make this name so no one else can know what it is. So what's your brother called then? Like, you're Keyvan.
Silos.
Is that more of a common name? Is Keyvan a common Iranian name?
Yeah, it's a common, like, it's spelled
in Spain.
Like it sounds like Taiwan or something like that. And my brother is Silos. Yeah, like we have fancy names.
Very fancy names.
For a Spanish country, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Spain.
Yeah, so what the audience probably don't know is you're actually down in Tunbridge. Welcome to a common town.
It's nice with this nice weather.
This nice, lovely weather again. What the audience doesn't know as well is it's sunny in Tunbridge. You know,
it's sunny.
It's sunny. They won't. Yeah, you didn't realise. You're so used. This is sun now in England. This is what you get. You know.
Yeah, it looks nice. Right.
Well, your girlfriend's off back in Madrid. You know, very nice. I'm guessing it's nice and sunny in Madrid now.
Yeah.
Just rubs it in.
I don't know. Like, I think it's pretty cold, but it's sunny. At least.
That's the nice thing, though, isn't it? Because like, even if it's cold, you still have the sun, and like, even if you're indoors, you feel
not really sunny.
It's 9 degrees, people. You know, it can't be good English weather. That must be the thing you miss the most about Spain.
And then the family and friends. But the weather is an important one. Like, at least we have sun. Like,
well, that's it. Like all the time having sun, get the vitamin D and all that stuff. And how was the travel down? Like, I know you said it took a little longer than you...
Yeah, like I asked, I looked at Google Maps and it says...
Well, you said you first did City Mapper, and of course only City...
So the thing is, like, I used City Mapper, and it says it's outside London. So
it's like, I'm sorry, it doesn't exist. Sorry, nowhere outside London exists. This is not...
So it can exist, like it says, I'm not going to calculate the thing. But and Google Maps just lied to me.
Yeah, so what did it do then? So it made you go a completely, or did it just tell you the estimate was wrong?
The whole estimate, because it says like it's going to take 1 hour and 10 minutes or something, and it just took 1 hour to get to London Bridge. So but it's fine.
It's fine. We're here now. You got to see some green grass on the way down, even though it's miserable weather.
Sheep and lakes.
I know. Look at that. we won't talk about the mouse story on there. The mice story. We'll leave that.
And the thing is, like, you realise how big is London? Like, how long...
because it took you an hour then to get to London Bridge from where... Wow.
And from the train to here, you could see, like, a lot of houses. Like, you have to wait quite long to see just grass and trees,
Yeah, it slowly kind of gets away, doesn't it? And then you get here. Oh, no, it's awesome, though, man. Because we were thinking about maybe doing it over Skype, this podcast, but we thought, actually, it'd be better to do it face-to-face. It is better. It's quite nice, it's nice. So, I'm quite fortunate to see my face, though. That is the only thing, Normally I could just say, no webcam, we don't want that. But so, how's your week been?
Really good. Like, I've been doing, like, this last week, an entire new greenfield project. And, like, programmers, we love greenfield projects.
Greenfield, exactly. That's horrible brownfield, other people's code. I can't believe they did this,
Yeah, so it was really nice. I've been also doing like this project with an entire domain-driven design approach, so it looks like really nice, and also it works like really good.
And like the test suite you were saying about 100% code coverage.
Yeah. I don't really like this metric,
name,
but it has like a really good coverage. So and everything was like pretty well. Like it's not yet finished, but
it's getting there. And did you do TDD style development?
Yeah, and most of it, like some other parts, I did just prototyping and some kind of weird stuff.
How do you pick when you do TDD and when you don't? Because people seem to have this kind of thing of like, you have to. If you're doing anything, you do TDD.
Yeah.
Or there's more of a kind of give and take on...
So, especially when I try to discover the thing, like when I want to design the thing, like for example, if you are in a legacy project, it's more kind of difficult because the code is already there.
Yeah, we've had that problem, haven't we? Where, it is kind of like...
It's pretty difficult. Yeah. But when you're discovering and when you're designing the thing for the first time, it's way easier. Also, like you could do TDD in a legacy project if you're gonna start a new feature or something, and then you integrate the thing with your previous code. But yeah, I think for a greenfield project, it's pretty easy to do TDD. Like you're just discovering the design and iterating over it. Like you will refactor and you will extract those fanciest abstractions.
That's really cool, man. And like as you're saying, like was it the end-to-end testing and actually be using SQLite in-memory database to actually?
Yeah. So the thing is,
because you're not a fan of functional.
I'm way more fan of unit tests because they're extremely fast, like end-to-end tests.
And it also helps the design, doesn't it, as well? Because when you're designing in that way, you will... Because people cop out thinking, oh, no, it has to now be a functional test. No, your design may be wrong.
The thing is, like, it's all about feedback. Like, the earlier you have the feedback, the earlier you could iterate over it, and the earlier you know if you're going well or not. Yeah, so if I do a feature or something, and then I broke, like, 7 somethings, or it didn't work, I could iterate over it. I don't want to spend like half an hour to know if I was wrong or something.
That's it, exactly. It's this whole like pushing it up, doing it to a test server, waiting 5 minutes for an email to come and then debugging it. I mean, that's just another thing actually. Like in the test-driven design stuff, it's very much you don't need good debuggers because the test should because the feedback loop is so small. You don't have to be debugging, tracing through stack traces, and
so you save a lot of time.
But it's this upfront that people assume that, you're writing these tests that no one, it's like, no. But no, I mean, that's got, and then, so the in-memory stuff, because you were saying like...
So in your application, you know that you have boundaries and you, but sometimes you need what is called, I think JBrains, it's calling these tests, contract tests. You will test your boundaries. Like, for example, if you interact with the database, you will have a special test that actually tests that your database layer is working well. So you're testing that boundary. Like, for example, in domain-driven design, you will have something that actually, like, for example, you have a repository and you're persisting an entity. What I would do is to persist an entity and recover it. So everything should work as expected.
I mean, because I suppose the other thing with that then is that people say, you should assume that the database layer should work as it is. But a contract, but the way you word it as a contract is that, it's a contractual agreement. Are you providing the contractual agreement that you do persist?
Exactly. And the thing is, I was thinking, because I was using PDO for saving the things to persist in the entities, I was thinking, okay, I could use an in-memory PDO. So everything should work as expected and everything is going to be in memory. So it's extremely fast. I don't even really need the real server over there. And it worked.
And you've got this test. I mean, the thing that was great is that you working from, because I remember you saying yesterday that you were working just on your local machine. You had a local instance of Postgres, locally, the PHP unit was running locally, everything. Sounds really awesome. I'm looking forward to the next week when we can kind of go through it and stuff.
And the cool thing also is, because those tests were kind of high-level tests, I could use them also to test in-memory implementations. Like, we don't usually do those. Like we use the in-memory implementation for our tests. But sometimes the in-memory things do not work as expected. Like, the in-memory solutions are just fakes for our tests. And we know that fakes has some kind of logic. And it's good to know that your fakes work as expected.
You had that thing, didn't you, with the ordering? Wasn't it the ordering? The in-memory one wasn't ordering as you were. And you're like,
So I discovered a book about that.
No, it's really cool. Like, it is. It's very interesting. And, well, I mean, we kind of, gone straight to that bit. But firstly, as you first time on the show is... How did you get into programming, man?
Oh, man.
Why did you get into this? Why did you bother, this pain and addiction that is programming?
So, many years ago, I was thinking that I was going to be a professional drawer or painter, I'm going to go through arts and that kind of stuff, or maybe architecture. But also, I was experimenting a lot with building computers. I think a lot of people get into this industry by just doing that kind of stuff.
Modding them, making them cool, the green neons and the loud fans.
That was really weird. Like, I get really into modding. It was like really weird. Like, I was spending a lot of money in those fancy lights and fancy fans and that kind of stuff. And cases and...
Windows machines as well,
Windows machines. Yes. So then I started doing some kind of web pages, but for... You remember the outloaders for CD-ROMs? Like, you
The autoloaders. Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
yes. And you could, because you'd have like a CD, like you get like a CD, a single or something. You'd be like, oh, I get to go on like put it in the computer and you get the video pops up or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I thought it was really cool because I have those bunch of music things and videos and games, and I wanted to have a kind of a menu. Don't know. So I started doing HTML and doing those outloaders. And then suddenly I just discovered that I like doing that kind of stuff. So I started doing kind of small web pages that are not very useful, but they were kind of experiments. And then I started doing the web page of my high school. And it was kind of a privilege because the thing is, because I was doing that page, I could skip some signatures and subjects. Like you could go.
You could do it. Yeah. So it was the whole website.
Yeah, the whole at the beginning it was like pretty easy, like just some information.
And how did you get into that? Did someone say, oh, by the way, that Keyvan does program, or did you say, I want to do?
I say it like I could. So it's pretty cool if your high school students could go to somewhere to get information
about stuff, snow day or something. Like you don't, you have to worry about that. We do, the radio, waiting for the radio,
And the thing is, so I started that thing, and it felt like really good. Not just because of the privilege that I have,
but you get to experiment, and you're like, people are seeing this work, this stuff that you're producing. It's like, wow, it's actually useful. It's like, not only is it fun to do, it's actually useful.
And that moment, no high school has a web page. It was something really cool, even for the high school. And also, because I have a brother.
Is he a year younger than you? Or
he's one year and a half younger than me. And he was experimenting with the web too. I don't know, I think we built some kind of competition between him and me.
So he went to the same high school. He wanted to do this. Hang on a minute. My older brother said, I'm going to see what I can do.
And in the end, was really healthy because he was pushing me forward and I was pushing him forward, So, for example, he started PHP before me, So he discovered the dynamic web pages before me. And I just thought, how the hell this is possible?
How is he doing this? It's like this is witchcraft. Yeah, it's like this is witchcraft.
So then I started learning PHP, and then we turned the web page in a dynamic web page. It wasn't.
And now you wouldn't have to upload the whole thing. You could have a bit of a back end, maybe.
Yeah. So the thing turned in something really, really nice to experiment and to discover things. And then I just starting developing some experiments. Like, for example, I was lending my CD-ROMs to other people.
Yep.
Because I had a lot of games and a lot
kind
of
like the boot,
and then I was making those applications for knowing who took that game or wherever, a simple web page that made my life easier. And then I started developing those fancy tools for me. And then I discovered that it was extremely useful to build those things. And then I get into uni, and after.
So did you decide then? What was the artistic career? What happened there? Was it now my brother's doing it, I'm going to kick it?
Yeah. So after a few years of doing those kind of experiments and web pages and things like that, I get into kind of it was turned into some kind of obsession. So I wanted to learn more, and also I wanted to build kind of the perfect thing, and it was kind of. Really?
How do I make this better? How do I make this perfect? There's something. Did your brother help with that then? Maybe he kind of egged you on. It seems you both kind of.
Yeah. So it was kind of a healthy competition. But at some point, I just didn't care about if my brother did something or wherever. I went into my own way.
Yeah.
But I was really, because at that time I was also I'm always been really perfectionist. So I wanted to make sure that I was building the thing in the right way, just for curiosity.
Because you didn't want to know, I'm doing this thing, it's hang on, that person's over there doing it. I want to know.
How things evolve.
How did you, it's
And I also suffer a lot because I wanted to build those massive systems and it didn't work. I was creating massive code base thinking that everything was going to scale and it didn't scale. So I failed a lot of times. Yeah, and then I started reading a lot and learning more.
This was during uni, so you went to uni then, and then...
No, it was before uni.
It was before uni.
But after uni, during the uni period, I learned a couple of things. I met other people.
Because what would you say was the most important thing about you took out of uni? Because I was thinking, like, everyone has different things. Like, some people say it's the friend, some people say it's the education, the direction. What would you say is your...
It's difficult because I think in my case, uni wasn't that useful. Yeah, I even quit uni. So, but in my case, what like, for example, I just discovered what I don't want to do, or that I want.
You're eliminating options. Yeah, eliminating things so that actually that is definitely not me. That's not me. Yeah.
And I just discovered I could learn by myself. Like, I don't need anybody telling me what I have to learn in order to be successful.
And I don't need a test to prove it. Like, you know, that I have to study for a test, all this kind of rubbish, like superficial, like, you know, force. It's like, you should want to learn. You should want to know this. And
and I don't say, like, it's not useful. Like, you could learn things. And also you discover things. Like, for example, all the hardware stuff, all the network protocols,
the OSI level, layers, the 7 OSI,
It's quite useful to know all those things.
Fundamental things that build up,
But the way it was explained, it wasn't convincing at all. Like, it looks like those people were saying the same thing for years. Like for example, I have this subject. It was team software process, and it was waterfall, and it was like really weird. Like, we spent a whole year documenting a project, and we implemented that thing in 1 week. So we spent 1 year creating paperwork, you know.
The whole documents, layers of
layers and layers, like
UML diagrams and what's it? Because the only ones I ever did was unified modeling language and all that. The other one that I think you've mentioned to me before. There's another. You got UML, another
BPMN.
That's it, something like that. Yeah,
but I did that. Like, it wasn't at uni.
Skipping ahead. Sorry. Spoilers.
Yeah, but. Don't know, and also the team spirit, like it felt like everyone.
Yeah, did you get to pick your teams? That's always I find interest. Teamwork at any like educational level, I hated because you'd get the passionate people, you get the people that were there that they were really good, but they knew they were really good, so they didn't care, and you get the people who are just there because they don't care at all, and. You know,
that happened a lot. Like, you have to pick people, and they pick you too.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I know he's going to carry me, and it's horrible. It's not what work should, you know, kind of thing. And so, did you get to pick the people, or did you have to?
Sometimes in some projects, and in some others not. Like, and also I spend a lot of time in the library doing my stuff. So I just discovered that I went to uni to do my stuff at the library. So it was kind of weird, isn't it? Like, you should spend your time
with people, with lecturers, not secluded, like doing your own thing, kind of like learning. Yeah,
and I even went into exams and doing things like thinking in my next pet project. You know, like doing some kind of weird diagrams or something of my next pet project, and it felt weird. Like, you know, whether I'm doing these things when I should be doing the exam or when I should be attending those.
You've got something else in your mind. That's taking more precedence on what you care about.
So then I realized that I could just learn that I own my career. So I could just train myself. So I started working. I started as some kind of internship in one outsourcing company. And
through uni, like when you were doing uni.
Through uni, yeah. And it was so good. Like, I was experimenting for the first time what my job was.
What really software development is. Really what is being...
Because, you know, like, people tell these things during your life, like, the study life is so easy, so grateful, so great, you know. The moment you're going to get into the job, you're going to suffer, you know.
You're going to hate it, you know, I wish I was back in, you know, uni again when I was, you know, having fun and, you know. And
So for me, it was the opposite. Like, I just discovered that... that was the thing that I really wanted to
do. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. So, and also it was an opportunity because, you know, your first job is really important. Like if my experience was like really bad the first time or something, maybe
it could mold your career. Like, you know, whether you've got positive feedback on the fact that what you're doing or what you want to be.
So I was lucky to have a mentor that teach me like a lot of things. So yeah, I really.
So this was this like a year in industry type thing, and then you go back to uni afterwards and.
No. I started a full-time job as an internship. Like after a few months, like I started as a normal developer, but then I left because I was receiving a lot of pressure, like I should finish my degree. I went to to do my degree again, and
hated it.
It was like really painful. Like I was enjoying so much doing my job that it was like again I have to go back and.
It's this whole idea of like studying to then do an exam to get it to grade, and it's like, oh, I know that now because I got an A in that. It's like, well, you don't know it,
So, like my boss just offered me the possibility of working as a freelancer. So every time, like because we were working like really good together, he offered me that possibility, and I thought, maybe like. If I spend like 3 hours a week or 4 hours a week,
just working with him, getting feedback. I mean, that's and also kind of keeps you kind of motivated.
So I started being a freelancer for a period of time, and then suddenly I started to get some clients that I didn't expect because my boss at that time was passing me clients like
he was go for it. Yeah.
They were kind of an agency, and sometimes they cannot provide a solution for something, or they don't have resources or whatever, and then redirect those projects to me.
That's pretty cool of him, like to actually
and it was great. I mean, and also you have the opportunity to get exposed to a lot of clients and environments
and how to deal with clients.
Yes. So it was a great period, and then after a year, I realized that I really like that thing. Like, and going to uni was kind of a painful experience. Like
it was the opposite of what everyone says.
Yeah.
You're saying uni will be awesome and work will suck. It's actually for you. It's the difference.
So then after a year of 2 years working as a freelancer, I did a project that was like extremely successful. So it was deployed to 1,000 shops or something like that.
So what was this project? If you're allowed to,
it was about those cash for mobile platforms.
Oh yeah. So what you mean, like you can?
So you give your phone, and they gave you cash, and the business model is like they take those mobiles and sell them in third-party countries or something like that. And because that project has an agreement with a big operator in Spain, in all the shops of that operator, you have the possibility of give your phone. So that application was deployed in thousands of shops. So it was really cool, and it was extremely successful.
That must have been amazing to go into a shop and be I made that.
Yeah. So the thing is, because that project went like really successful, my company got into an agreement or something with.
And so did you were you part of the team making that, or were you the sole person?
I was part of the team. I didn't do everything.
But that's nice. I mean, to work as a team. To get recognition as a team.
Then my old boss proposed me to be kind of a lead or something.
Your mentor? Was this the mentor?
Yeah.
While you're at uni still, and then you're like, I'm getting the success outside.
And also he offered me equity and a really good salary, and I mean it was a real deal. Like.
Yeah, I mean, how old? I mean, 20, 21 maybe?
I was 22, 21.
Yeah, and you're thinking, wow, this is quite insane. Like, I like working.
So it was really, really good, and it was a really nice opportunity to try new things or, to build something really big. Then I went into my old company that now has this agreement with that other company to build a new one. So we were kind of a tech department.
So they kind of were kind
fusionate,
of they kind of melded in and they became a tech because of
So we were not an agency anymore.
You were a part of a big company,
and it was really nice at the beginning. Then things turned out to be kind of weird,
weird, or just different. Turned into
it turned into some kind of consultancy thing. I think it wasn't fun anymore. Also, the thing is, my boss, my mentor, was like really convinced about management, and he wanted me to become a manager.
So was he a manager as well then? Like was he?
Yeah, like he was the CEO.
But he technically minded as well.
Yeah,
he had an interest like over to the managerial side.
Yeah. And he thought like the progress that you have to make, like the usual progress of a programmer is like you start as a junior developer, then you turn as a normal developer, then you go to senior developer, then to analyst.
Oh, yeah, analyst, yeah.
So
you turn into software architect analysis. You're analysing the problem to let, senior developers, then mid developers, normal developers, then junior developers to do the work, because that's the way it should be. You are an analyst,
and then to architect, and after all, you have to become some kind of manager. I mean, if you want money and you want success.
That's how they,
people. So the thing is, I bought that idea.
Oh, he's a mentor,
he was my mentor, and he was pretty convinced of this thing. But then I didn't enjoy it. Like, it was a kind of a different work.
So had you left uni then? Like, were you like, I'm the... Or
so I didn't really left uni. Like, it was like, I don't care. Like, I was still doing things for uni, but
it wasn't your primary...
It wasn't my priority at that moment. And then, because like after a year in being that kind of a manager or something weird, I just got burned out. So
because you were having to deal with then. So I guess how much coding or how much programming did you actually get to do?
So I was doing a lot of programming, but it was like, because the model where you don't trust your employees and you have to control them, and you
don't give them responsibility. You are the responsibility, and then
So that favors mediocrity, and the code. We didn't care about the code, and I felt like I was the only one caring about the code. And code is not everything. Like, you have to provide value, but it's really important. But like, for example, if your client asks you to add this button, and you say like you're going to spend 3 days or 7 just by adding a button, you're not really providing value.
You're not adding value, and it's because of the previous neglect on the code base that you've done.
Yeah. So it turned in some kind of painful situation. I was like just struggling a lot. I knew that we were not doing things in the way that
had the code base turned because of the kind of shortcomings of it doesn't matter.
Like, in the end, it was extremely painful. Like, you have to believe me, extremely painful. And then I went burned out. So I just said to my mentor, like, I have to get away. I have to leave, and I have.
Was this a PHP job as well?
Yeah, it was a PHP job. Yeah, it was Symfony 1 too. And we have Propel everywhere, like Active Record. And then I went into a really really famous startup it started with 10 million euros investment. So it was kind of a big project.
So you left that job and you got burnt out, probably took a little time out of like, what the hell's going on? Still at uni at this time as well? Yeah. And then you find, I'm going to go and...
And then I get into the startup world. And then I discovered that I wasn't as good as I thought. Like, I was surrounded by these awesome people.
It's the first time then that you felt, I am not as great as I thought, because you do. If no one is better than you, you're going to assume that, you know...
And that's the thing, like, it hit me like pretty bad. Like, at that time, like, I thought, because in my previous company, I was kind of a leader.
You were the god. You could be considered, it's all right, we'll get Keyvan to do it.
And don't know, like...
And you kind of like, this where you kind of feel your worth, your value is the fact that you're that good. Mm-hmm. Not because of you as a person as a whole, it's just that.
Like I have a fancy title and everything was like... I even had a promotion like a week before leaving that was a software architect.
Oh, so you got the architect role. Boom, boom. Everything's fine.
I was the same person, but now I was an architect. You have to respect my position. It was really weird, because at that moment I realized that it's not really important. Like, the title is something that you use to hide behind. At that moment I realized that titles are just useless.
Did you feel kind of not upset but annoyed that you reach the goal of software, because that's the goal, isn't it? To promote, and that's like the kind of the industrial revolution way of get up the chain and you're going to be happy. And then when you're up there, you're like, I'm not actually happy. Yeah. Like, it's kind of like, well, what do I do then?
That's the thing. If management was so good, if command and control structure was so good, why I felt so bad?
Yeah, and you're like, everyone else feels good around me, but I don't. That must feel really weird.
Yeah. So like a lot of conclusions in a short period of time. Like, I just realized that I have to do something, and then I left. And then in this startup, I met a lot of awesome people. Like, it was great. And also, like, when I went to that company, like, the first interview, not the first, like the last interview with the VP of engineering was kind of weird, because I went to the startup like dressed with a suit.
Yep, suited and booted. Yeah, you got to look at good impression and all that.
Yeah, no, but also it's because in my previous one, I was leading people that were way older than me. And that's why you need these fancy titles and you need to get a suit. Like you want to show other people that you have power, like it's not something that they value your knowledge. Like people that know you, they value your knowledge. But people that they don't know you,
they only know, they see the title to then assume, you're on that level, so you're there.
We had a lot of meetings with really big brands like Vodafone and that kind of stuff. And when you have meetings with those guys, you have to demonstrate like you're a big boss, like you have to
look good, that's it.
And also, it was kind of weird, like people in that environment, don't know, it felt like if I was wearing a suit, they follow the things more smoothly, like they in a command of control. Like I thought it was pretty weird. Like I was managing people that were way older than me, like 10 years.
They had family, kids, and had more experience, like in a sense.
So you have to appear like
that you're better. You have to feel bigger. It's the whole idea of getting bigger and stronger. Is like I have to appear that I am
older than I am.
That's it. Grow a beard, become
Then I just discovered that I wasn't aligned with that way of thinking, and then I just throw away everything and start from scratch again.
What did your parents think about that? Were they supportive of you?
Parents are always proud of you. And it was a good opportunity. It was a really nice project, like the startup thing. Like continuing with the story. I went to that final team.
Suited and booted, everything's all good.
With my suit. And the VP of engineering said to me, like, I enjoy talking with you and that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have this interview with you if it wasn't because I had like previous interviews with the tech team and they asked me technical stuff. Because those guys told me like you are good, but you look like a consultant. So I wasn't having this interview if it wasn't because my colleagues said that you're good. Like you're really a consultant, and I said, what? No, like I'm a developer.
Yeah, I love development.
But the thing is, like my CV was looking kind of a consultant thing because I was. Don't know, like
it kind of everything you'd done had kind of been, and you're like, no, it's really I am a developer. I love development. Just get me
because I have those fancy titles and those stupid things, and I was wearing a suit. And
you must have hated that when you said that. You're like, no, what are you saying?
No, but it was good to like explain to him, like, no, I'm a developer. I enjoy developing, doing development. And then after a few weeks, I got the offer. So I entered that company, and it was one of the most successful decisions that I ever made. Like it was really, really good. I met like a lot of
awesome people.
It was a really good project.
Was it PHP as well, or
it was PHP? But the thing is, like, I really love challenges. Yeah. So when I started there, they said like, we have this problem. We have the digital rights management for the video encoding. Like we have to protect these videos.
Because actually, look back, so kind of like I know because you've told me a little bit about the story before. Is that it's kind of like Netflix was
competitor.
Which is a very weird game to get into. Full stop. But you were going to deal with the DRM, the digital rights management, for every file that goes down.
Yeah,
wow.
And it was in C#.
Wow.
So
was there a reason why it was in C#? Was there like a chosen?
No, because we were using a technology behind the DRM. For example, the Flash. We were using Flash because it was at the moment like the only technology that allowed a DRM. And the DRM thingy was working with a Microsoft solution, and it was like
Microsoft stack you need to deal with,
And then I started learning like C#, and it was like a really nice experience. Like we're exposed to something that you didn't expect.
Compiled language, static, all these different things.
And Windows, I was coming from a Linux environment, and now I have all these Linux like Windows things.
Yeah, Visual Studio. Which is awesome.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, every time. This is the thing I love. Everyone you speak to who slates Visual Studio, they've never used it because you go to Visual Studio like, this is the best toolkit ever. It has everything.
Mm-hmm. So it was an awesome experience, and I think the people was like the best thing.
Did you meet a lot of good friends that kind of
good friends, and after a while, like things get kind of stuck because we've got the people, the idea, the technology, but it was too early, I think, for Spain because we have a lot of piracy in Spain, and people don't understand how this business works. Like it was really, we were paying like a lot for licenses.
Because that's another thing, like you had to pay up front into these companies, didn't you? Yeah. These licenses. I remember you saying the story about Netflix. The reason why they were kind of successful were all the studios didn't think that. They're like, yeah, you can have it, whatever. You're not going to do it. And then they're like, crap, they've actually done really well, and they're hiking up. That's why they're doing their own studios now, like House of Cards and all these things, their own.
So for the listeners, like imagine this thing: like if you pay for Breaking Bad €1 million for the whole season, for all the seasons for 1 year, and you have a subscription plan of €6 per month. How many users do you need to afford that? And we had like a lot of TV shows. So how many
each
users?
One of those, every one of those.
So it was like a really risky business, and at the end it didn't work as we expected. And then
did you release a product? It was released.
It was
but
released.
Just people. It wasn't getting the traction that people.
No, like we were receiving a lot of traction, but because people thought like, why I should pay like €6 per month when I could have those things for free?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you cannot compete with piracy, like you have to offer something, and the experience was really good. Like we were developing these applications for smart TVs, iPad, iPhone, everything.
So the full suite of. Yeah. And you were working on the did you kind of know about or work on any others? But was it mainly just DRM that you were?
I started with the DRM, and then.
Because that's quite a hard thing to even do on its own. Like, it's like, I think I'll stick with DRM.
It was really cool. Like, we have all the resources that we wanted. So, we needed a Windows machine, we have a Windows machine. We needed a Linux, wherever, we have it. We need a smart TV, we have a smart TV.
You just got a brand new one coming to the office and you can start playing with it.
Yeah, and the team spirit was also really good. Like people help you and you discover things. And I mean,
it must have been totally different to the vibe you had when you were this
it felt like
control
totally different.
Kind of, And was it kind of a flat hierarchy?
Yeah. And I really like that. Like for example, the CEO was sitting like with us. Like it wasn't,
and he'll be there until you were doing stuff. You
could ask him whatever you want, and everyone was really, really humble, and like it was like a stunning experience to know what software should be. Like
because how did they orchestrate? I mean, all these different. I always wondered, like where you have like an Android application. Like you have an Android application, you have an iOS application, you have a Windows. Set up, but then I suppose you have the your online platform, and then you have these smart TVs. Were you all working in the same, or were there multiple groups, kind of an agile way, where you'd have like 5 or 6?
We had different groups and different specialists. Like we had one JavaScript guy that was doing the smart TV thing. We have the iOS one who was working on the iPad and iOS and iPhone thing. But we were because we were sitting next to each other.
Like it was just one flat.
Yeah, so it was really easy to interact with each other. Like we didn't have those bureaucracy things like with tons of paper.
People you have to go up to the office, and
we were working like close together with the product guys, so we knew how, like if you want feedback, you're gonna have it. Like it's not something like it's written in stone.
You have to send an email and wait a week for them to maybe reply. And they're going to say, no, we'll get it done, and all these layers.
And then at the end, and like after a year and a half or something like that, then things started to get worse because of the money. So
your upfront startup cost, but your budget you had almost
almost disappeared. It was kind of a signal for the next step.
And were you at uni then still? So
I was at uni then, but then that year I didn't went to uni.
I was thinking it's the most long drawn out. So you were still at uni. Did you do anything with uni, or did you just kind of just
No,
leave?
I think that year it was the one that it was the last of my priorities. And then with two friends from there, I thought it was a good opportunity to build our own startup. We have some savings. So
you got the itch from that company. You were like, look, this is an awesome environment.
Yeah, and then we tried to build this crowdfunding project. So we have this problem. It started with this thing. We wanted to buy a present for a friend for his birthday, and it was kind of difficult to coordinate that thing and to raise funds for.
There's a big present, someone wants, and say, chip in. The whole idea of, you chip in.
But, because the thing is, in that company, every time we had a birthday, everyone who wanted to put money for that.
And you'd have to go there and
you have to
count it up. Who hasn't paid? And I forgot, and
So we were trying to solve that problem. So we quit, all of us, and we started this project that we call Fundy. And
you quit uni as well at this time then? Was this like, I've given up?
I just don't pay anymore.
I didn't go, just like...
And then I started Fundy, and it was so good. Like, that period was so good. For the first time in my life, I had the opportunity to build things in my own way. So
you'd had all this experience, all this exposure and ways in your head now.
So for example, at that moment, and this was like 4 years ago, I started experimenting with domain-driven design. That at that moment, nobody knew about that.
Especially not in the PHP world.
In the PHP world. So, and man, it was like really successful. Like we have like massive amount of tests, and everything we touched we ran the test and we knew if everything broke or whatever.
Instant feedback, everything was perfect. This is the way you wanted to do it. And,
And
so you said you quit with two friends. Was one of them the graphic designer, the designer?
He was the product director of UZ, like Netflix competitor. It was called UZ. Yeah, he was the product director, and he was like really influential, and I think he's one of the most influential guys that passed through my life. Like I could consider him like a mentor for a really big period of time. And he teach me like a lot of things, and that was one of the real opportunities that I have to work with somebody that you really admire.
You admire. That's it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, and it was like really, really good because he's not a developer. You could discover things that
he would think in a completely different way.
Yeah,
you're like, how do you even think like that? Yeah.
And one of the best things that I learned is like do things in the simplest way. Like you don't really need to over-engineer everything. Just provide a solution that works and do it like the best way you could do it. Like also that there's a good enough thing, but attention to the details.
Weighing up the pros and cons of every decision you make. As you say, like, okay, adding this, the simple solution now, will this be okay for now?
Yeah.
But will it eventually in time maybe be code rotten, we need to then deal with it and then,
But also like when I started Fundy, because it was the first opportunity I had to build things.
This is your first greenfield proper project. You've got two people now, and you've got an itch.
And also we Alex was the other engineer, and also it was the opportunity to build something with someone that also cares about software. And then because it was the first project that I had the opportunity to build in my own way, I didn't realize.
You got your perfection. We spoke about it earlier.
Yeah,
that may help.
So. That's the thing, like software is about providing value, like solving problems. Like code is something you use to solve those problems.
Tool that you use to solve a problem that someone has.
Creating code for just creating code is not a reason and enough reason to develop, Like you have to provide value. And at that moment I was kind of an artist. Like I could spend like weeks in this small feature that like refactoring until I thought it was perfect. Okay, perfect.
We're never perfect. It's this underlying. It's almost perfect, but and then
So there's a limit. Like good enough. Stop.
Did the Fran? Is Fran the project designer? Was he very much kind of like, look, Keyvan, we need to do it. Like it works.
It was really good because he was giving me feedback. Yeah. Like Keyvan, you're spending like too much in these things. What are you fucking doing? Like we need this is time to market that we are losing. Yeah. And you could like if you define scope of things, you could get rid of some features that you might not need.
You could say which one's time to market, which ones do I need, which are the
like for me, quality is not something that you could sacrifice, but you could limit the scope, or don't.
You could have
do
good
everything
because it's better having two things that are good quality than 5 bad things. You've got the two that are good.
Yeah. So and also you could do prototypes or tracer bullets.
Yeah.
So you could start something and then grow it. Like you don't really need like I think we fail a little bit to be lean, to have a project that you release to the public and then iterate over it.
And see the feedback. Break quick.
We wanted to have like the perfect and most beautiful product out there, and without the feedback
from day one.
From day one, and it was kind of I think I really liked Fundy experience because I learned a lot of things and.
Well, you were able to actually explore, say, the DDD stuff.
Yeah,
do everything your own way.
Yeah, to learn a lot, like to get out of my comfort zone. Yeah, it was a really, really, really nice experience. And also, we didn't hit the business. Fundy didn't work because imagine this thing: like if we were taking 2% of every transaction, and you do like small transactions, like getting a gift or a present for a friend that is not going to be above like 100 euros, we're going to earn like 2 euros. How much money we need to earn to maintain 3 people? Like
fully always on the product.
So we failed in to make it kind of a business, like to get money from it and survive from it. But it was really successful in, like, it still works. And works pretty well. Like, we don't have errors or anything at all.
I remember you saying a couple of months back, you just said, I moved it to Taroko.
Yeah.
And you did like that.
Yeah.
Over a weekend.
So it's really easy to make changes. Like, I'm still doing, like, a lot of stuff over there. Like, it's not a dead project.
Do you enjoy the code base as well?
Yeah.
Is there ever bit, because there must be, like, bits in it you're still like...
Like, for example, you could see, like, I didn't have the ideas clear enough about domain-driven design. Like, things could be way simpler, and I always try to simplify the thing right now. So we didn't hit the business. We were not getting money from it, but people use it for helping other people, and that makes me like extremely proud. Like I think every month, like 5,000, 6,000 euros are collected to helping other people. Like I don't get money for it. Like one of the recent changes that we made, it was just getting rid of the fees. Because, I mean, if I'm going to earn, like, 20, 30 euros per month, I could put that thing for free. And people will use it.
And they do. And you help. I mean, that's awesome. You provide a platform that has helped. I mean, that's awesome.
And also we have some plans, like, to scale the thing and make a public API or something. But right now, I mean, that makes me, like, really proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then after a year... I
suppose you were using your savings
I was using,
to fund, like,
every of us, like, we really...
Because you're living in the middle of Madrid, I'm guessing.
At the downtown, and, like, every one of us, we were spending a lot of money just surviving. Yeah. So then we needed to start working again. And then I thought, if I have to start working again, I could just go for some attention, go, for example, to London. So I went with Fran. Like, Fran was really insisting in this thing.
Did you come up with the idea, or did he come up with the idea to move?
So we wanted to move to London, because also Fundy is an LTD.
Yeah.
So it was kind of an idea to move to London, but then suddenly one month, like, Fran got, like, really excited about coming here. Like, man, we have to do it now. We have to do it now. And then, why not? So we came here and without a job. And without anything.
And you and your girlfriends at the time, I guess?
No, at the first time, because we were kind of the explorers. Yeah. Like we get into an Airbnb, look for a job, for a flat, wherever. And then, I signed my first contract with my builder a week or so. And Fran got into Google. After a month of a really
all that stuff,
process.
That must have been pretty scary for him. Like thinking that if I go, that's cool, man. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, were you like, how did you feel about Fundy? Like when you realised that you weren't going to be able to live off it, like like startup kind of, it wasn't what you expected.
I
must have been annoyed, or were you kind of no.
I think. I mean, it was a failure, but also it was a success.
Yeah, so I wouldn't class it as a failure. Yeah. I think it's a success where you built something that gets used today. Yeah. You did it in a way that you wanted to do it. You've learned so much.
Like, technically, is a really good project. Visually, it's a really good project.
It's amazing. It looks amazing.
The work of Fran is awesome. I learned a lot. I would pass through the same experience over and over. I mean, it's something that you have to do.
Yeah.
Like you will learn a lot of things, even if the project is a failure or you fail in getting money from it. Yeah, it's really important. Like success is not something that you suddenly it happens. Like you have to fail 1 million times, and after those million times,
then eventually
it works. Like the thing is, like when you see somebody that is successful, is because you're not really seeing the whole process.
Like, you haven't seen the pit that they've probably been in many times where they've had to claw themselves out.
So for me, what was like really successful project? Like I really enjoyed a lot, learned a lot, discovered a lot of things, and yeah, it was a really successful from my point of view. And also it makes me proud now.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And so when Fundy, when you said like you were working Fundy, that again, I guess uni was gone now. It was like, goodbye uni.
At that moment, my priority at that moment was like get something with Fundy. Like it wasn't like to finish my degree. And when I came here to London, my priority was looking for a job or working in here, not to finish my degree.
And what made you come to London? That's like...
Because we wanted to prove our English first, so we wanted to go to an Anglo-Saxon country. London is like,
beautiful weather. I mean...
yeah, because of the weather.
The weather. I came to London for the weather.
No, like, it's I think it's the biggest city, and technologically talking in Europe.
Yeah.
And here are a lot of loads and loads of developers. Software culture is way stronger. So yeah,
people come past it, don't they? In America, they want to come. Yeah, anyone that's influential. And that kind of. I mean, you're saying because
big companies are here too. So.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Because you're saying in Madrid, you've got a really good tech culture with Symphony and stuff. Like there are really good.
Not only Symphony. Like
in general,
we have a lot of groups, workshops, and really like. We should be extraordinarily proud of what we have in Spain. Like the communities that we have at Madrid or at Barcelona are awesome. I mean, I know a lot of extraordinary developers over there, and we should be like really proud of that. In London, like for example, for me in London, it's kind of difficult to find kind of the same. I'm not sure if it's because of the community, because I was moving in the PHP world, even though I was in other communities too. To find the same passion, like
the same type of people. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it is because I was familiar with that environment or because I don't know, but it felt like it's hard to find those people. And in Madrid and Barcelona, we have like really, really nice and good professionals. So we should be like really proud of that.
Just need to get the tech companies there. That's what we need to do. Come on, Facebook and people. Yeah. Absolutely. So, that's really. And then so you're over in London now, obviously, because you're here. You're in London now. Well, not here. You're in Tunbridge at the moment. And yeah, so you started work at My Builder.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where I kind of met you. Obviously.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So how long have you been working at My Builder for then? So when did you start? Because you said you came over to London, and then you had a couple of idea companies and stuff, and then you picked My Builder.
So I started like 1 year and a half ago, and things grew like really fast. Like we started in a really small, like when I started, because they were before in other places, but it felt kind of small, and now we are a lot of people, and our offices are kind
pretty
of
nice,
medium big. So and things are evolving pretty well.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. And obviously, so, I mean, you've got like tech, work life and stuff outside of work. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you hate programming outside of work. You couldn't stand it, It's merely just work for money, Code for money. That's pretty much what you do. It's like the PhDs,
That's the thing, man. I do certificates on my
This is it. You just, exactly. A certificate, you get extra money. That's definitely not the case. Is what things at the moment really make you like... you're interested in? I know, but the audience don't know, so I'll let you kind of come in from
So right now, I think I'm in too much things. Like right now, I'm writing...
Too many things.
Too many things. And some...
It's hard to say no, though. That's the joke where you're like, this is so cool, and then it's like...
It's so cool, like, let's try that thing, or why not? And then you end up with millions of projects at the same time. But like right now, I'm writing a book.
This is your first book?
It's my
first book in English.
In English, which is kind of weird. Like if you realize, like my English is not that good.
I think the audience will be surprised. You will be surprised.
Damn.
I think you will.
So I'm writing a book with two guys from Barcelona about domain-driven design in PHP.
And is this from your experience from working at Fundy, or is this kind of a different...
it was from my experience and their experience, and I mean, they know way much than me.
So do they... How do you know them? Was it DVD meetups or...?
No, because they are from Barcelona and I'm from Madrid, so we didn't make that. Yeah, conflict.
Yeah, conflict.
No. But like in software, we are all friends. Yeah. I knew them because of Twitter. They were kind of virtual friends.
Yep.
Carlos and Christian are part of now a really successful startup in Barcelona called Atrapalo. They came into Atrapalo, like a year ago from another company. I knew them before that. And they are trying to introduce domain-driven design in Atrapalo to make the business way more successful, to deliver faster and a lot of things.
So what is the business? Is it just like an overview of what they...
so it's a combination of travels, like taking tickets for shows, hotels. Like
quite big, yeah. Wow, that is a big broad scope.
It's huge. So if you know a little bit about domain-driven design, like they have a lot of bounded contexts. So that makes like things like really work
and interesting, because then you've got this problem that you can solve
in that environment. So they wrote in Twitter like we were writing a domain-driven design book. And I look at that and I said to them, I meet them just once in life, like in face to face, but I knew them like through Twitter. And I said to them, like, maybe I could collaborate. Like I've been doing things for Fundy and I'm still doing things now for my builder in domain-driven stuff. And so maybe I could collaborate with you and don't know, like just for pleasure.
Couple of chapters, and if you like my work, you know.
Yeah. And then they proposed me to be an author. And it was like a really huge opportunity to contribute to
these guys that you know, they are mentors type. You kind of like, wow,
like work with people that you admire is awesome. Like you could learn from them.
Well, it's it's like you're getting paid to work with the people you really want to work with. It's like, I'll pay you to work. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So they are really humble. Like they proposed me to be an author, even though like we didn't met a lot of times, or we're not, really close friends.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know exactly everything.
So and then we started writing the book, and right now I think it's 40-50%, something like that.
You've got an awesome cover on it now.
Yeah,
I love it.
Thanks to Fran,
Did Fran?
Yeah.
Did he really? I thought you made it.
No, I did a sketch. I did some kind of working prototype, like the idea, and he
get the designer guy. You need to.
He helped me.
That's cool, mate. He looks lovely.
He always helped me. So
it's awesome. No, it's awesome.
And
And how is the writing process going? Do you hate it?
No, the thing is like. Writing is extraordinarily tedious.
I mean, because you do blog posts and stuff like that, and I've struggled with those. But writing a book must be a completely different ballgame.
It's tedious. But I mean, the reward of helping other people and people like the book is the most rewarding experience. Like when you write a blog post, it's extremely tedious. You have to think a lot about the examples and that kind of stuff. But when people when people like it,
it's a great post, and they share it, and think, this is a great post. You're like,
it's the best reward you could have. Like people,
you've helped someone. You've actually helped someone else.
So and now I think the book is really successful. Like now we are close to 400 readers.
And that is an unfinished book as well.
Yeah,
it's not even finished.
40-50%, and I think when we finish this thing, it will be like way better.
So it's domain-driven design, but with a PHP twist almost. So it's
So at the beginning was domain-driven design with PHP
examples,
guided by examples. The thing is, domain-driven design is kind of a philosophic twist. So it's not just the technical thing. Like Eric Evans on the original book, he divided the book in just two parts: the technical part and the strategical part, which is kind of more the philosophy behind domain-driven design. But also, like people, it's really difficult to get into domain-driven design because sometimes, like, you need to make a twist.
Yeah, the barrier to entry is quite high. Like, people assume that it's very much a massive, and you do need people who influence
So the thing is like the entry point usually for most developers is the technical side. So
repositories,
value objects, entities.
Because they're things that as developers we can grasp and we can think is cool, and in a blog post we can
talk about those things.
But then, as you say, like there's this whole other side, and so in the book, are you hoping that you try to meld the two?
But with a lot of examples, because people really want examples.
I find I've learned better with examples. Like having text upon text, I really want to see something. So
it's very like the target also like domain-driven design is for developers, but we focus also in providing examples on how to do things, especially in PHP.
And you've also got a project as well that's tied to it, which is great. I think that's a great way to do it, because what better than actually, I can't remember what the saying is, but you're eating the food that you make or whatever, it's like saying, okay, well, I'm actually going to make you something and show you that you can do it. It's not just all book review, because some books, you read, you're like, that'd be great, but how do it's like, actually, no, you can, and this is us doing
this is the way. And also, I'm writing the blog, and I'm gonna run something with my mother, which is kind of weird. Because I will always love like maths.
Yeah, you're a crazy guy. I don't know how.
Because my mother is a mathematician, so I was thinking like maybe it's a good opportunity to build something with her, so we could show people some kind of basic maths or something like that. So I'm running that thing too. I have a lot of things,
a lot of ideas and a lot of things.
Releasing a lot of open source projects, like trying to collaborate and share knowledge.
I think you do a very good job of that. You've got a lot of hands, trying to
I'm gonna get crazy at some point, and then I'm gonna kill myself.
This is not the podcast where he tells himself. This is where people think. This is where we found out that Keyvan killed himself because of too many projects. And another thing is closure. Because that's another thing.
I've been learning Clojure for a long time now, so I really like Clojure because it's very pragmatic. And so I had this situation at some point, like I really like learning new languages and new technologies, because that gives you broad view of
no matter what the technology, even if it doesn't help you explicitly in what you're doing now.
You don't have to be an expert, just understand what's happening or what things are right now, how things work, or how could you improve your knowledge. 3 years ago, I started learning Ruby, because I think Ruby is, for me, the best scripting language. Like, it's way more object-oriented, for example, than PHP.
Yeah, because
everything is an object. Like, it's so nice.
Everything you can use as an object, which is true OO.
In my opinion, I think it's a superior language compared with PHP. So I started learning Ruby, and then I realized it wasn't challenging enough. Like, I wanted switch,
you want a different idiom. You want something completely that when you look at it, you don't get at all why.
Like just trying new things, like to discover something new. Because I was reading a lot of object-oriented books, and I wanted a switch. So then I thought it could be really useful to know about functional programming. It's something that I did a little bit at uni with Haskell. So then I started looking through things, and I just discovered Clojure. And Clojure is a Lisp language. And at the beginning it was really, really weak. Why I think that functional programming is
relevant.
Is relevant. It's not just something
hype that people think it's cool, and it's.
I think it's the next step in programming, functional programming. I mean, it's not a silver bullet. You're not going to solve everything.
But some problems will be better solved with
functional programming.
Moore's law's gone. We can't. We're going to have to scale out horizontally now, not vertically.
So the thing is, if you think about every year we have more and more cores in our computers, and it's difficult to scale to grow a program to concurrent things,
especially OO, where state is everywhere.
So the thing is, when you have state and you mutate state, and you have a kind of a concurrent thing, it's very difficult to synchronize, and with
testing. How do you test? Because throughout your testing, it's it worked fine, and then in production, this one edge case happens, and you can't even reproduce it.
And because functions are just functions. So like you have an input and an output, and it don't have like side effects. It's like, especially with Clojure, like the language is so good. Like it's a really good fit for concurrent and parallel things. And also it felt like the guy who's Rich Hickey, which is the one who developed Clojure, like spent a lot of time like developing the language, and you could feel that. Like at the beginning, you will not understand anything, like because it's, first of all, it's Lisp, like you will get messed
You'll look
around.
at Lisp dialect and you're like, this makes no sense. Why are all these curly braces around? And so it looks a mess.
it looks like really weird. Like the first month, I wasn't learning anything at all. Like it was like kind of difficult. But once you get into with the language, I think it's pretty clear. Like now, every time I see the source
code, do you think it's more simple than actually?
I think it's way more simple.
Than over abstractions of what we've come to.
And I think the world is switching to functional, like because, for example, React is way easier to re-render the view rather than mutating things and subscribing to events in a weird way.
Just say, do it again. Just do it again. Do it again. Yeah. It's so easy to reason about. And
Clojure has these fancy things like immutable data structures. So you're sure that you're not gonna mess around with the state. So things are not mutable. So yeah, I think I really like Clojure. But yeah, I'm kind of a novice.
The thing is, it's learning things, and it opens you up and makes you think about different things, and even in the language you use day to day. But yeah, so I think maybe it's been like an hour and 40 minutes on this one. Keyvan, it's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that's all
good
right,
opportunity. Expose myself.
Expose yourself. You get to listen to yourself back as well. You know.
Yeah, it's gonna be really weird. But I have to do it at some time. You know, like I cannot be afraid in the corner
this
always.
Is it.
So,
no, but you sounded great, man. Right. Anyway, audience, thank you very much, and goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to 3 Devs and a Maybe. You can contact us at contact@3devsandamaybe.com or follow us on Twitter at 3 Devs and a Maybe.